So today I have the pleasure of meeting with Loki. Loki, please go ahead and introduce your company and yourself to our community.
Okay, so my company is called Sherbet Donkey Media. We're a marketing agency. We focus predominantly on building sort of high-end custom websites and generating more business for our clients with SEO. That's kind of our two main focus points. So we've been going 18 months. We started with 3 members of staff. We're now up to 37 and still recruiting. So we've had some crazy growth over the last 18 months. I think a lot of that is down to probably our work, because we get a lot from referrals. So we must be doing something right.
That sounds amazing. So 18 months young. Yep. What inspired you to start the business?
In all honesty, I was fed up with other marketing agencies. So I've started my very first business 16 years ago, which was an epic failure. Dusted myself off and then started another one, which had a bit of success. But through the last sort of 15, 16 years, I've always had various businesses. And the one thing I found is whenever dealing with different marketing companies, they all kind of promise the world, and the results are a little bit lackluster once they've got payment, I guess. So I'm one of those people, if I see a kind of a problem in an industry, I like to try and find a solution. Usually that's a good recipe for success. So I thought, well, it can't be that hard. I've always been interested in sales and marketing. So we started an agency, and I thought if we headhunt some of the best people, then I will have a good agency to work on my other businesses. And also, we might get some clients along the way. And I think, from doing that and kind of righting some of the wrongs in the industry, it's enabled us to really kind of get our name out there.
Amazing. And we spoke a little bit earlier about the name, which I love. What excites you most about your business?
For me, I like growing a company. So I've always been a workaholic. I've always had several businesses because I just love work. I'm one of those really sad people. I'm the polar opposite to my wife. And for me, I like taking a company from scratch, or a company that's kind of been stagnant, and finding a way to really grow it and accelerate its sales. So the thing that I love the most about this business is I kind of get to do that every day for our clients. So, we've got a lot of clients at the moment who we do SEO for them, and I can see the direct impact that has on their business. We've had clients recently where they've won nearly £1 million worth of contracts from our work. I've had other clients where we've taken their turnover and put it tenfold over the last 12, 18 months. So I still get the same buzz out of that as if it's my own business. It just doesn't come with the same financial reward or the same amount of stress. So it's like owning 50 or 60 little businesses, really, I guess, for me. That's what kind of gives me the buzz on it. So
absolutely love that. And recently, what would you say during this time? Obviously, we're way past COVID, we're out of COVID, we're currently in this economic downturn, so we're led to believe. What would you say some of the challenges have been over the past 18 months?
I think for any company that's grown as fast as we have, there's always going to be growing pains. I think there's been some with company culture. When we very first started, because we were a small team, it was quite relaxed and laid back. And, now we're a much bigger business. We've had to kind of bring more structure in, I guess, and put more systems in place so that we don't get kind of lost in the workload. And I think recruitment as well. I mean, recruitment's been quite difficult because I'm not a fan of working from home. Like I said, I'm a very hardworking, motivated person, and even I struggle to work from home. So I like to have everyone here collaborating. So trying to recruit and get everyone to come to the office every day when you've got a lot of competitors that will allow people to do flexi work and work from home, that's been tough. But we offer a really good package. We treat our staff really well. The culture here is brilliant. So we've been quite lucky to get as many staff as we have. But yeah, I think other than the sort of traditional growing pains, I guess, of, onboarding clients every 5 minutes and stuff like that, it's like I said, we've got a good team, and everyone kind of gets their head together and we can power through whatever. So.
What would you say, or you mentioned about historically being a business 16 years ago, having some failure, which is for us in education, having some success. How would you say that through that journey that you've changed?
It's hard. I've always been a little bit of a people pleaser. And it's something I've really had to learn, that sometimes you've got to put the commerciality of the business first, or sometimes you've got to be a little bit selfish, and you can't just say yes to everything. So I think sometimes, you know, I've made bad decisions in the past when I'm just trying to keep everyone happy. So I've had to kind of learn that you've got to manage that a little bit better. And I think as well, you know, it's little things. I mean, when I very first started my first company, I was 22. I knew nothing about business. I had no mentor. You know, my parents have always been factory workers. They didn't really know anything about business. So I kind of had to go at it blind, which I think is where some of the mistakes were made. But I have found as well that really, from every failure you have in business, whether it's a complete failure or just an error or something like that, you learn so much from that, that if you can actually get a couple of failures under your belt early on, it builds for a much bigger success afterwards, in my experience.
Yeah, get back up and go again. Fantastic.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that. What has been your greatest success?
Oh, I think building a marketing agency to 37 people in 18 months when I know nothing about websites or SEO probably is quite a good success. We've managed to really sort of shake up the SEO industry, and it's something that I'm really proud of, because it's quite a, I want to say, dirty industry. You know, I won't go into the deeper depths of SEO because it's quite technical. It's not that interesting. But, you know, there's a lot of companies out there that sell it and charge for it and don't really do the work, or they don't do it properly. And customers end up with a bad taste in their mouth because they've spent thousands of pounds and seen no return. So when we can take a customer that's been burnt before and persuade them to have a second go at it, but with us, and then we bring some massive returns for them, you know, they sing our praises from the rooftops. And it's nice to restore faith in people for something that they've kind of had a bad experience with before. So I'm quite proud of our abilities to do that.
Yeah, fantastic. I love that. I can hear the enthusiasm, and you mentioned something really important there as well about you know, the actual technicality of things might not be your speciality, but you've built an amazing team.
Yeah, I'm not a technical person. You know, anything other than Excel I struggle with. So, you know, I've got a team of amazing people here. They're doing coding, they're building websites, all this stuff that I just do not understand. But I think that's part of our success as well, because I can't micromanage, because I don't know how they do what they do. So I've just always headhunted the best talent and left them to it. And they work together as a team. Obviously, like I said, we've got 18 people working in SEO, and then the rest work in sales, design and development. And I think the fact that I don't interfere really helps, and I don't micromanage. I'm not set in my way of doing it because I have no way of doing it. So I think that has given us a huge amount of success as well. And we've got a really great, loyal team here. You know, they're brilliant and they go above and beyond for clients. So for me, I focus purely on the sales side, the company growth, and just client satisfaction. You know, as long as we're getting sales and our clients are over the moon, you can't go wrong, really. So it works. It does work. It's a bit unorthodox, but it works.
No, I love that. It just demonstrates how, you know, the power of team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Organization.
Absolutely.
What do you wish you had known before starting out?
Last week's lottery numbers. I think knowing that it's okay to fail and then you just get back up and dust yourself off. I think when my first ever business that I had, when that failed and we had to liquidate it, I went through a tough time, and you know, I felt real sort of shame, and I was really worried and everything. And then once it's kind of done, you're like, oh, actually that was quite easy, and here we go again, and you learn from your mistakes. So I think that was a really important lesson. So I think if I could go back in time and start again, I probably wouldn't have been so emotionally attached to business. But I think when you pour your heart and soul into a company, and it is your company that you've made from scratch, it's hard not to be, you know, emotional when it goes wrong, or when it goes right. You know, it's tough. So, but yeah, I think that would be probably the main lesson I would teach myself. So
yeah, and you know, amazing. Thank you for sharing that, because you know, people do go through those things, and
it's easy to yell about your successes. No one wants to talk about their failures, but I think one thing that my clients always say they love about me is I'm very blunt and honest, and I say it how it is. And you know, I think it's important to be like that. And you know, businesses do fail. It's not necessarily the fault of the person that owns the business. It can be down to a number of things. I mean, so many businesses have been crippled by COVID. So, you know, it's part of the journey at the end of the day. But for anyone that can dust themselves off and go again, you know, that takes real grit. So fair play to anyone that does that, I think.
That open, honest communication is just so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. And then you can see when it's genuine as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But thank you for sharing that. That's, you know, there are people out there having some of those experiences, and just hearing that and learning from your shared experience is amazing. So thank you.
That's okay.
Looking back on your journey so far,
Yeah.
what 3 words would you use to sum it up?
Exciting, hell, motivating, I guess. I've always been a very highly motivated person, and I'm one of those people who nothing's ever enough, and I don't mean that in a greedy sense. You know, for me, it's never about the money or anything else. I always like to beat the competition, and it's the thing I love about this business. So a couple of my other businesses, they're in more sort of niche industries, and we dominate. We're number one. We've got the best kind of business. With this marketing agency, I know that our growth has been amazing, and we're bigger than a lot of our sort of local competitors, but we'll never be the biggest. So for me, there's always someone to chase and someone to try and top, and that keeps me very motivated. It's just part of the fun, I guess.
And that brings me on to my final question. Where are we in the next 5 years?
Oh, do you know what? That's so hard to do. With every company I've ever had, it's been easy to project that. But when I started this business 18 months ago, and there was just the 3 of us, if you'd have said to me then, where do you predict being in 5 years? I'd have said, oh, you know, maybe we'll have 10, 12 staff. So the fact that we've gone to 37 running, I honestly don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if in 5 years' time we've got 50 staff. It wouldn't surprise me if we've got 200. As long as we've got a reputation for putting out the best results, when it comes to SEO and doing some of the best websites, that's all that really concerns me. And I'd like to win some big clients as well. I think that we're kind of in a position now where we can start going after some bigger companies and some of those well-known brands. But yeah, I think 5 years I'll still be here. I'll still be tired, and we'll still be ploughing on. And
hopefully you'll still be enjoying it as much as we can see you are at this time.
Fingers crossed.
Brilliant. Loki, thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, pleasure.
And for sharing your story, and to your future success. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.